So the Violence Against Women's Act, I'll be calling it VAWA for this presentation. Inside VAWA, the Violence Against Women's Act would increase the penalties and punishment against abusers, which in a way could protect women from facing abuse and violence. Critics of the VAWA would point to any of the harsh sentencing rules that had to be followed. VAWA treated violence and abuse against women as a crime, something that was long overdue. VAWA was passed in 1994 in hopes to reduce crimes against women. Thanks to VAWA, abusers would be held accountable for their crimes. VAWA criminalized rape, domestic abuse, assault, and stalking, and grants were given to abuse hotlines, grants for shelters, community programs, rape prevention, and education. The creation of the Violence Against Women's Act. So VAWA was put together by Democrats and Republicans. The VAWA was a policy that is continuously improving the lives of women. The policy passed in 1994 and was again revamped in 2000. The policy was co-sponsored by Democratic Senator Joe Biden and Republican Senator Orrin Hatch. Important conservative congressmen were in support of passing this policy. Republicans and Democrats and other women's movement organization made the passing of this policy possible. So the history of this policy, at the center of this policy, is the Title III, which allows for women to sue their attackers in a federal court. But the weakness of this old policy, Title III, is that the attack would have had to be proved that it was caused or motivated by gender. And sadly, Title III was later repealed in federal court. Even though it was overturned, it meant a great deal because it showed that women's equality was like a matter of civil rights. So some of the struggle that happened with VAWA. Since violent crime was quite prominent in 1990s, it didn't have a solution. Republican Senator Chuck Grassley co-sponsored VAWA, and a lot of the argument that Republicans like him made was that violent crime should just always be punished, plain and simple. The policy would be framed as a crime issue more than a women's issue. And progressive lawmakers would cite violence against women as a form of abuse control that was happening. Joe Biden said in his speech that rape is a crime of hate, not of sexual desire. And same with domestic violence, it's a crime of force and not a domestic matter. And Joe Biden called battering and rape terrible crimes that brought upon fear for the victims and women involved. So VAWA and immigration also relate. In regards to Title III, it wasn't supported because critics claimed it would overload the courts. Joe Biden made sure that VAWA included women of color, immigrant women, and Native American women. Not all Republicans were so supportive of VAWA, like House Immigration Subcommittee Chair Lamar Smith, who said that having more protections for abused women could risk letting in more women at the border if they claimed to be abused. And some Republicans feared that these laws could be used to obtain green cards. And the thing is to remember that when women were not able to get out of abusive relationships or get help, call the authorities, their abusers just remain unpunished and continue to abuse the women in their lives. So what did VAWA do? How did it transform lives? Thanks to VAWA, domestic violence was no longer treated as a personal, familial house issue. This changed the way that America viewed sex-based violence. VAWA was passed with a powerful bipartisan support eventually. Women felt a sense of relief thanks to VAWA, and women who were not citizens didn't have to fear deportation if they reported the crimes of the violent and abusive men. And women felt that they had a legal standing against any predatory men, thanks to VAWA. And this has really helped a lot. These are my references and my resources. I hope you enjoyed the presentation and I was able to answer any questions or things you were not sure about in regards to VAWA. And feel free to ask me anything after watching this video. Thank you for your time. And see you in class. Have a great day.